Welcome back. All right, so I'm recording this one prior to the last game before the break for the Montreal Canadiens. That will take place on the 31st against the Senators. It is a risk I'm taking with these videos, in that if I'm recording a bunch of these and then I try doing it from a hotel room in California, it's not going to be the same. So for Montreal, they just have the one game left till the break. I don't think that's going to change anything. I don't think they're due for like a big run one way or the other. So their current record's 20, 26, and 4 again as I record this prior to the game against the Sens. Their power ranking, the highest they got was 21st. The lowest they've been is 29th. Their current spot is 27th. So they haven't been last on the board. Their playoff odds, 0%. So last year, they were lowest on the board. It seemed like they were lowest on the board a lot. But this year, they're not. So for Montreal, 10 games in, they were 5-5. 20 games in, they were 10-9-1. And again, it felt like, hey, maybe Montreal can do this. As a Boston fan, I always find the league more interesting when Montreal is good. I've said this before that as a Boston fan, yeah, it's nice to see Boston beat Montreal, but not when they're not good. Like you want to see it when both teams are good, and you want to see Boston go in there, and usually historically Boston's lost that, especially if it's a playoff series. But at any rate, I'd like to see Montreal get better soon. That being said, they were 14-14-2, 30 games into the season, and then the bottom drops out. They only won 2 of their next 10. They were 16-21-3, and of course their current record of 20, 26-4. They've been 4-5-1 of their last 10. Their status, they're rebuilding. They're a rebuilder, and this is where they're at. Their MVP, the injured, not coming back this season, Caulfield. The fact that he was playing that well and scoring that many goals while he kept having to pop his shoulder back in, he's a pretty good scorer. Now, the one fear you might have is that depending on the nature of a shoulder injury and the surgery and all that is, it can affect a guy's shot when they come back. It absolutely can. But that being said, he's young. He should be fine. Their current scoring leader is Suzuki, 16 goals, 22 assists, 38 points. I've seen a lot of comments about how his performance has dropped off. The reality is it's easy to just, go after Suzuki. If you're playing against Montreal, what's your prime focus? Shut down Nick Suzuki. Make sure he can't make the passes he likes to make. And I think that's a big part of it. Caulfield, 26 goals, 10 assists, 36 points at the time his season got shut down. Kirby Dach, 10 goals, 22 assists, 32 points. He's had a remarkable resurgence. Dvorak, 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points for him. Josh Anderson, 14 goals, 3 assists, 17 points. And the rumor is out there that Montreal was offered a first-round pick for Anderson and said, nope, not interested. So whether it's they want more for Anderson or maybe they like Anderson, either way, that's where they're at right now. Their tandem is Allen and Montembeault. I don't think that changes between now and the end of the season. May change in the offseason. If they decide Primo is ready, you could likely move Allen, since it seems like Kent Hughes is sold on the idea of keeping Montembeault around. They really seem to like Sam Montembeault. Their pending UFAs, interesting list here. Dodonov's been playing better lately. I know he's back to Dadonov. All the Russians, it's just gone back to how we used to pronounce their names this year. It's like just, everybody got Men in Black except me. So Dodonov, I still think it sounds better as Dodonov because I got used to that. He's had a better run lately, and I think that's upped his value. But to get somebody to take that contract even as a rental, Montreal would have to retain some. But I think Montreal would be willing to do that. Belzile, decent fourth line option, but again, just purely a depth forward. Drouin, who is on IR, expiring contract there. If they could get him moved, I think they'd get it done. Same with Monahan, who's on LTIR. Now, early in the season, Monahan, there was talk about, hey, maybe Montreal keeps him. He's fitting in really well. There doesn't seem to be as much of that lately, so I'll go ahead and say they try to move him at the deadline, but since he's on LTIR, he'd have to come back from that first and show that he's healthy and able to produce. Otherwise, you're selling from a point of weakness if you're Montreal. And Bowen Byron. Paul Byron. Bowen Byram plays for Colorado. At any rate, Byron's on LTIR. At this point, he's been injured for such a length of time that I do wonder what you're getting if Byron comes back, when Byron comes back. I'm really hoping it's a when and that it's soon. But that being said, Montreal has some assets here they can move at the deadline. I do expect them to be busy. Obviously, Carey Price is still technically, he's getting paid by Montreal, all that, but he's not expected to play again. In all likelihood, Price's career is probably finished. And so that would affect what they do with their goaltending going forward as well, I would think. If Kent Hughes believes that, Price will probably play next year, might make them more likely to move on from a Jake Allen. But we'll see, because when a team's rebuilding, there's that length of time where they're trying to build up prospects. I think Slafkovsky was a decent pick. I know he's had some rough patches this season. I know there's people, the vultures are always circling for number one draft pick to declare them a bust. But I'm not there yet because he's a teenager. I don't generally call teenagers busts. In fact, if people follow the channel well enough, I don't call players busts. But at any rate, Montreal, not the worst in the league, and they're still going out there and giving it their all. I will say this, Marty St. Louis is kind of the perfect coach for a young, talented team that's not expected to win a bunch of games. But, Marty St. Louis, the way he's coaching them, they're at least entertaining to watch. And so I'm excited to see what happens with them. And I mean that. And again, yes, as a Boston fan, what are you doing wearing a Montreal jersey? Why would you want Montreal to be good? Same reason I said at the start. Next time Boston beats them, it'd be fun if they were a good team. And if Boston loses to Montreal, there's that tradition there. And so, I could shake my fist and be all angry. But in reality, it is one of my favorite rivalries in hockey. And I'm hoping that it's a good rivalry again soon. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.